As day breaks, the town of Geilenkirchen barely stirs. Quietly tucked away on the edge of Western Germany, far from the big city bustle of Berlin. But over the past few weeks, this small, sleepy town has woken up to a familiar noise. Just down the road is an airbase, for 30 years home to a small fleet of Boeing 707s. It looks like your typical airport with your typical commercial airplanes, except for that strange dish planted on top and the military surveillance operation going on inside. This is NATO's Airborne Warning and Control System, or AWACS, a unit set up back in the early 1980s in response to the Cold War, and called upon now for a new mission.
There's 25, 50%.
Since mid-March, they've lifted off every day, cruising the skies above Poland and Romania. The AWACS crew comes from 17 NATO countries. The pilot is with the Netherlands Air Force.
You know what we're here for. I mean, it's the reinsurance for our NATO allies that there is an eye in the skies watching what's going on.
An eye with impressive vision. The dish on top and the computers on board provide the crew with radar images of air, land, and sea. Traditional military radar on the ground is limited by changes in terrain. But up here, the AWACS crew enjoys an unobstructed view, monitoring movements some 400 kilometers away. Right now, we're flying over here in Romanian airspace next to the Ukrainian border. From this vantage point, we can see all the way across Ukraine to Crimea, the Black Sea, and almost to the Russian border.
The naval tracks which are in the Black Sea to the south.
And what they're seeing has NATO officials concerned.
Okay, right now all of the blue dots here are hits on naval vessels.
Canadian Charles Riffieux is in charge of surveillance. Those blue dots are ships, he says. The white ones are aircraft. Over the past few weeks, they've seen plenty of both. Russian military hovering ominously close to the Ukrainian border.
We have been seeing some patrol aircraft. They're doing training exercises with their fighter aircraft as well. Okay, so we're monitoring that. They also have some collection vessels, some large ships in the area that are listening and are reporting things that the other side is doing, which is the NATO forces. So it's kind of a cat and mouse game right now.
In response, NATO has tripled its air strength in the Baltic states, including 6 Canadian fighter jets, which arrived this week, tasked with policing the skies above Romania. And when they go up, this AWACS team will have their back. From here, they see the field and call out the plays. They can also refuel in mid-air, holding steady long enough to connect with a tanker plane hovering overhead, allowing them to stay airborne longer.
Still get your heart racing after all these years?
Yeah, actually it does.
Peter Lowers has been a military pilot for 38 years. When he began his career, he says Russia was the enemy. This marks his final mission before retirement, and it feels all too reminiscent.
The Western countries said after the wall fell, is we all had peace in our mind, and it now we see that there's further development. So NATO and all people should be aware that about the overall situation.
They head back to Geilenkirchen, where people are all too aware, concerned about a NATO crew created for the Cold War flying in European skies once again, and what that says about what lies ahead on the horizon. Jeff Semple, CBC News, Geilenkirchen.